You're 25. You score 102 on an IQ test. Slightly above average, you decide quietly, that's my ceiling. Promotions, hard problems, advanced degrees all pass through that number. Here's the problem, that ceiling is a myth. Intelligence is not fixed at 18, not at 25, not at 50. If intelligence were locked, every 18-year-old would think the same way at 30. They don't. Some people build stronger reasoning skills over time. Others stall. The math is simple. 20 minutes a day of real cognitive effort equals more than 120 hours a year. Over 10 years, that's 1,200 hours of focus, strain, and recovery. That's the gap between someone who repeats ideas and someone who generates them under pressure in meetings, exams, or negotiations. Muscles grow under tension. The brain, the most plastic organ in your body, follows the same pattern. So here's the uncomfortable question. If IQ is fixed, why do some adults become far better thinkers while others do not? Many people were taught that intelligence is genetic, like height, but it acts less like height and more like a battery that expands when charged well. Neglect it, and it shrinks. Train it, and it improves. Intelligence is not a score, it is a system. Section reset, beat 1 complete. We've questioned the ceiling. Next, why believing in a ceiling feels safe. This is not about hidden genius. The behaviors that grow thinking skills are visible, trainable, and recorded in history. Start with names you already know. Albert Einstein was called slow by teachers. Thomas Edison was expelled as unteachable. Charles Darwin was seen as an average student. Benjamin Franklin trained himself with writing drills and memory exercises. These are historical facts. Their edge was not raw genius. It was tolerance for discomfort. You could say they were outliers, or you could look at what they repeatedly did. Einstein ran thought experiments, imagining himself chasing a beam of light for years. That was sustained mental strain. When you sit with a hard problem without searching for the answer, the brain's default mode network activates. This network helps link ideas that do not seem related at first. Passive consumption rarely activates it. Darwin worked in focused 45-hour blocks, then stopped. Not 12 hours, 4 to 5 hours of deep concentration, followed by long walks and rest. The pattern is clear: strain, recovery, reflection. Stress the system. Recover, adapt, repeat. Franklin used a simple method. He read an essay, hid it, outlined it from memory, rewrote it, then compared versions line by line. The rule was strict: no peeking. That forced retrieval. Research on retrieval practice shows students who test themselves retain up to 50% more material a week later than those who reread. Franklin was doing mental repetitions long before brain scans existed. Now compare that to a common scenario. Option A, watch 20 short explainer videos on a topic. Total time, 40 minutes. It feels productive. Option B, read one dense article for 20 minutes. Close it and write a one-page summary from memory. It feels slow and frustrating, which builds intelligence. Here's the chain. Passive input feels smooth. Smoothness feels like understanding. No retrieval happens. Neural pathways stay shallow. Active reconstruction feels hard. Difficulty exposes gaps. Gaps lead to deeper encoding. Retention grows. After 30 days, option A gives you familiarity. Option B gives you recall. Imagine a split screen scrolling on a phone versus walking alone. One is passive input. The other is cognitive strain. The fixed IQ story feels safe because it removes responsibility. If intelligence is genetic, you are either lucky or not. Simple, comfortable, final. But history suggests intelligence acts less like a fixed number and more like software that updates when you run the right processes. Most people never run the update. Picture 2 laptops with the same hardware. One regularly runs demanding programs. After a year, one runs more efficiently. The other does not. Same hardware, different use. If you cling to fixed ability, you attach effort to identity. You avoid hard repetitions. You treat confusion as proof of limitation instead of a signal to grow. Over 5 years, that interpretation gap compounds more than any IQ score. Struggle is not proof you are bad at thinking. It is proof you are thinking at your edge. Comfort protects your ego. Discomfort expands your capacity. Section reset. Beat 2 complete. Now the mechanism behind these behaviors. Before you try anything, understand what happens in the brain so you can recognize progress instead of quitting when it feels hard. Which story are you running this week? Comfort or strain? If intelligence were fixed, deliberate practice would not change performance. Yet it does. Here is the mechanism. If intelligence is fixed, none of this matters. If it is trainable, these 4 levers are the tools. First, the default mode network. When you remove input, no phone, no noise, your brain shifts from processing to connecting. Processing handles the task in front of you. Connecting links ideas that seemed unrelated. Originality often comes from this linking. Imagine you are studying statistics and struggling with probability distributions. You close the book and walk for 20 minutes without your phone. During the walk, your brain connects high school algebra to a real example from work. That link is synthesis. It rarely happens while scrolling. When attention is constantly pulled outward, the brain keeps reacting instead of linking ideas together. You get efficient at consuming and weaker at original thought. Schedule 15-30 minutes of intentional blank space each day. Einstein's light beam thought experiment was not random daydreaming. It was structured mental simulation. Activating the default mode network is not zoning out. It is giving the brain room to recombine ideas. Second, productive struggle. Franklin did not just read strong essays, he tried to recreate them from memory. The gap between what he thought he understood and what he could produce was the training stimulus. In one controlled study, students who repeatedly retrieved material scored up to 50% higher on delayed tests than those who reread for the same amount of time. Same hours, different method. Many people stop at one tactic. They do deep work or retrieval. The shift comes when you combine them. Focus for 45-60 minutes on one hard concept. Close the material. Reconstruct it from memory. Then take a 15-20 minute walk with no input and let your mind connect the gaps. Strain exposes weaknesses. Retrieval strengthens pathways. Blank space integrates patterns. If you skip reconstruction and go straight to answers, summaries, solution manuals, instant explanations, you may feel smart in the moment and blank later in an exam, meeting, or negotiation. Instant answers create recognition. Struggle creates recall. Third, writing by hand. Research from Princeton and UCLA shows that students who take notes by hand outperform laptop note takers on conceptual questions, even when the laptop group writes more words. Typing captures volume. Handwriting forces selection. Compression exposes gaps. Gaps deepen reasoning. Make it concrete. Take a 15-minute podcast on economics. Option A, type 700 words of near transcript notes. Option B, handwrite a half-page summary limited to 8 bullet points. Option A stores information. Option B processes it. When you compress, you prioritize. Working memory cannot hold everything, so you decide what matters. You build a mental hierarchy instead of a data archive. After any learning session, write a 5-minute handwritten summary capped at 1 page. You are not documenting. You are distilling. Fourth, recovery. Sleep loss reduces prefrontal cortex efficiency, the area responsible for reasoning, planning, and impulse control. After one night of restricted sleep, reaction time and cognitive flexibility decline. Chronic stress raises cortisol, which over time impairs memory consolidation. Darwin's 45 focused hours were deliberate. He worked intensely, then stopped. Many knowledge workers do the opposite. Low-intensity work stretched across 12 distracted hours. Option A, 10 fragmented hours with notifications. Option B, 4 deep hours, a real break, 7-8 hours of sleep. On complex reasoning tasks, option B outperforms option A because biology sets limits. Here is the system. 1. Focused cognitive strain. 2. Retrieval before review. 3. Daily blank space. 4. Protected recovery. Run this for 30 days and measure something concrete: how clearly you explain ideas, how quickly you connect concepts, how confidently you answer unscripted questions. Then ask, was your IQ fixed or was it undertrained? Try the 25-minute reconstruction test. Pick one topic. Study for 25 minutes. Close everything, explain it from memory for 3 minutes, out loud or on paper. Notice where you stall. That point marks the edge of growth. Do it within 24 hours. If you are choosing the strain strategy this week, comment strain. The ceiling you believe in will either limit your effort or break under it.